Big Pharma's price gouging is finally on the radar for our elected officials. But will new legislation be able to overcome the massive money that drug companies give both to Democrats and Republicans? They don't favor either one. That's what's so interesting about this story. Okay, so Jeff Merkley, who I really love this guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's from Oregon. I actually, for some reason, I got on his email list. Do you get his emails?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, he emails me, and he will be, where the campaign sends out information. This guy's brilliant. He's one of the few people that backed Bernie. Remember that?
Yeah.
One of the few Democrats that said, you know what, I don't think Hillary can win. I see a lot of problems with Hillary. She got too much baggage. And so he said, I'm more like Bernie Sanders. Pick it up.
Well, Merkley right now, and Bernie Sanders is also doing it as well, but he's got this new legislation that not just targets pharmaceutical price gouging, but he does it in such an intelligent and clever way. And here's what this legislation from Merkley says. It says, if you're charging the United States more for a pill than what you're charging other countries, if we're paying more than Spain, anywhere.
Canada, Mexico,
right,
yeah.
Then you are no longer, that drug is no longer eligible for Medicaid dollars, Medicare dollars, VA dollars, not a dime.
Which is about a third of their income.
Right.
Okay, now, I want you to remember something. Okay, we're getting ready for a presidential election, right? Springsteen comes out and says exactly what I'm saying. I don't see anybody that's going to beat Trump. There's none of these holdover, Hillary Democrats that are going to do it. I don't see it. Springsteen said the same thing because he's trying to be honest. He says, we got to get busy. If the Democrats want to do anything, they better get busy. Okay, so Cory Booker. Cory Booker is one of those names. Now, Cory Booker, the last time that this had a chance of passing, when the pharmaceutical industry was on the ropes, man, I'm talking about like just a few votes away from having to say, we got to play by rules. We can't just charge whatever we want to charge. You did a story one time, and by the way, Cory Booker is the one that made it go away for the drug industry. He came to their rescue. For example, it was okay with Cory Booker that Celebrex, for example, it costs 60 cents to make, and the price of 100 tablets is $130. That's a 21,000% markup. Cory Booker was fine with the idea that Claritin, these numbers are staggering.
Yeah, Claritin about at a 35,000%
35,000%
markup.
Yeah, or Lipitor, 5,000% markup. Now, Cory Booker had all of these, and that wasn't just Cory Booker, by the way.
Right.
It was the Cory Booker.
I think McCaskill.
McCaskill was, thank God she's gone. But anyway, so you had all the Wall Street Democrats lined up to come to the aid of the drug industry. It was going to pass, but for the Wall Street Democrats that made it go away. I mean, is there any other way to put it?
No, that is 100% what happened.
Yeah, okay. So now Merkley, who I got to tell you, watch this guy. He could be a presidential candidate. He doesn't have name recognition, but when he gets out there and he talks about things like this, he's also the guy that's going after Wall Street and saying, you know what? All these promises that Obama made to the American public about, I'm going to put Eric Holder and he's going to do something about throwing some of these Wall Street thugs in prison. Merkley was outraged when nothing happened, okay? So Merkley comes out and says, you know what? We lied to the American public and I want to do something about it. So you got Merkley on this where he's saying, you're not going to steal from the drug companies. You're not going to steal from mom and pop who have to sometimes cut a pill in half because they can't afford to take the entire pill. That's where we are. This is a disaster.
And I think the public needs to understand too, when we're talking about these markups that we pay, 21,000, 35,000, Prozac, 224,000% markup.
Well, give the numbers. It cost how much?
Yeah. Prozac here, 20 milligram, price for 100 tablets is $247.
Right.
It cost 11 cents to make it, so that is a 224,000% increase.
Yeah.
But the rest of the world doesn't pay these numbers. They pay anywhere between about 200 and sometimes, on the extreme side, 2,000%. Now, 2,000 is the highest number of any drug markup I've been able to find, and I've looked extensively at this.
They negotiate.
Right, they do.
The other countries negotiate, and they say to Pfizer, you're not going to charge that kind of money. Pfizer, first of all, the big lie was talked about by Merkley about a year ago. Merkley comes out and says, the drug companies are telling us, oh, God, we got to have all this markup because of research and development. Nonsense. It is a lie. It's an absolute lie. Most of the research comes from public taxpayers, happens at universities. And then the drug company comes in and buys that, and they're making $1 gazillion a taxpayer had to pay for. It's not research and development. Most of their money goes towards those ridiculous ads that you see every night on MSNBC or CNN. You got restless leg syndrome. It's it's almost every ad is you're dying. Here's a new disease you maybe didn't know about, and we have a new drug for you. That's how bad this industry is. It's just become a joke. Merkley's a guy to watch, Farron.
Yeah, and you know what, too, though, about that research and development, people have to understand this as well. These laboratories where the big pharma works, there's not just a basement filled with scientists down there with their test tubes and their microscopes running clinical trials. That's not what happens. Those big headquarters, those are offices. Those are, board members. The research and development is taking place mostly at universities. They do all the trials. They record the results. They put it in their medical journals. And then the drug companies who have been funding it, partly the government's funding most of it, they then come in and say, thank you for your work. I'm taking my stuff and I'm taking this to the FDA.
Let me tell you what they do in addition to that. The stop in between is if they don't like the clinical data that comes out of research, they do their own and they phony it up. The last 4 pharmaceutical cases I've handled, massive cases, every single one of them did exactly that. They take research from the university or wherever it is. They then do their own clinicals. They're very different from what research happened at the university. They phony up the clinicals, sell the product to the American public for years before anybody takes it off the market because so many people are dying.